What's going on, Who Dat Nation? We got some news and rumors to discuss. Some roster news that just came in a few minutes ago from Field Yates. Some trade rumors, some cut candidates, and of course, we're going to be taking your questions at the end of the show. So use hashtag Saints or send in a super chat if you would like to be featured on the program. But let's kick this thing off. All the YouTube cliche stuff, like, subscribe, and all that fun mumbo jumbo. But hey, this is the important question. Do you love the New Orleans Saints? Because if you do, I need a Who Dat in the comment section. I got Impat saying, yo! Jerry G saying, Trace, Who Dat Nation. We got Jason Hampel. We got Jerry G. I got Falcons fans chirping me on Twitter. Do they not know that I'm live right now? Come on, I'm trying to do my job here. We got Queen Courtney in the house, Terrell. We got Chris, Rhett, Ricardo, Fred. We got the whole dang crew, the whole dang squad, and it's a absolutely awesome lineup. Jace is hanging out with us. Ricky's hanging out with us. Jerry is saying, F the Falcons. I absolutely love to see it. Randy, Jason, Anthony. When Randy Lemoyne pops in here, I got a very special thank you I want to give to him. But let's kick it to this next question. As producer Chip, he's riding shotgun with me today. Make sure you throw some love his way as well. What's going on, producer Chip? How you doing up there, buddy? So we got Chip riding shotgun. If you guys remember him, he was alongside us for a bunch of the Thursday night games, some of the Monday night games and whatnot. One of the best in the business, one of my dear friends, so loved having him ride shotgun with me today. Will New Orleans make the playoffs? And Randy, the frickin' legend, we're going to wait to pop up his graphic here. Randy, I have a special graphic for you. I have a special thing that I want to do for you because of what you did for me, so just hold tight, my man. But let me know, will New Orleans make the playoffs? As Queen Courtney sends in a $10 super chat. Jace is saying, yep. Jason is saying yes. I do think that they'll make the playoffs. Will they win the division? That's a conversation that I think needs to be had. I think they could win it, but I also could see, the technicalities and like the tiebreakers sending another team to the playoffs like they did last year. But Queen Courtney, $10 super chat. Who are your top 10 corners in Saints history? Oh, that's a tough one. On the
heavy-hitting
spot.
questions already.
Queen Courtney on the spot, too. Okay. Let me see here. So, number one for me has got to be Marshawn Lattimore. And then I'm going to go 2, Tracy Porter. Seal the deal for the Super Bowl. Number 3, man, this is tough. I'm going to go Dave Waymer, and then 4, I'm going to go Dave Weitzel, and then I'm going to go Fred Thomas is in the conversation, Ernie Jackson, Jabari Greer's another good one, Alontae Taylor, just kidding, Paulson Adebo, just kidding. Courtney, that's a tough one. If I didn't name a top 10 corner, shout him out in the comments. I'm trying to think, Damn, there's okay, context, Chip. I know you're an Eagles fan, but there's not a ton of great history at the cornerback position specifically. Like, Marshawn Lattimore, without a doubt, is the best corner that this team has had in their history. But Jabari Greer is a really good one. Tracy Porter sealed this Super Bowl, so it's like, how could you not throw him in the conversation? And my guy, Randy the Legend Lemoyne, $25 super chat. I'm going to go hide real quick, and I'm going to pop back up. Chip, show some love real fast.
Got a special surprise coming up, baby. Kyle says Lattimore. Jason, they'll win their division. Jace, there you go again, baby. Randy, what a real one. And Trace told me what Randy did for you, man. Awesome.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Randy Jackson. Looking as clean as Randy Jackson. Randy Lemoyne, though, right here. I mean, look at this, dude. This thing is freaking awesome. So I want to give a massive shout-out to Randy Lemoyne for this absolutely fresh jacket. I'm going to be rocking it all over the great state of Texas in the Big D. I'm going to be making all the Cowboys fans, all the Texans fans, all those fake sports fans. I'm going to be making them pissed off because I'm going to be rocking the freshest jacket this side of the Mississippi. Thank you to Randy Lemoyne. He also included a very, very kind and a very, very nice thought-out handwritten letter that really made my day. I'm not going to lie. Randy, I showed the note to my girlfriend, Maddie, and she started getting teary-eyed because, oh, my God, I love Randy. I was like, yeah, I know. I love Randy too, but he's mine, though, so back off, okay? But, yeah, so, Randy, thank you so much, man. I cannot say thank you enough. I'm actually going to do a segment in today's video, rocking the jacket, because, I mean, it just looks so good. It just looks so good. I mean, you got the fleur-de-lis, you got the helmet, you got, I mean, I'm sorry. I know I look good, so I'm feeling real good. So I absolutely love it. Show some love to Randy. Keep him going in the comments section. We got Ty Man showing love. We got Jerry G, Jace, Terrell, excuse me. Randy is also in the chat. Chris is showing love. I mean, shout out to Randy the Legend Lemoyne. My freaking man, my friend, and an absolute legend here at the chat. So, Randy, we're going to be wearing this for you in at least one of our cuts. So, if you're ready to talk New Orleans Saints football, I need you to help me out here. We got 68 people watching, almost 69. That's pretty dope. But I need to get to 30 likes. We're at 22 likes right now. So 8 more and we can get this thing rocking and rolling. We can talk some ball. We got some roster news and a bunch of stuff to discuss, but I want you guys to help me out here. We can get to 30 likes. We can get the party started, and we can talk some ball. Where is Seeps? Seeps decided that he wanted to be a lazy bum and not show up to work. Just kidding. No, that's not what happened.
Imagine that. Imagine that.
Yeah, we swapped out Producer Seeps for Producer Chip. It's called an upgrade. Just kidding. I love Seeps. He has a watch party tonight for our Knicks channel. Knicks Now by Chat Sports. Go check him out. Marshall Green does a really good job with that. If you want NBA playoff coverage, if you just want fun chat sports stuff, like Marshall Green is the NBA guy here. So he is just absolutely crazy, absolutely nuts. So go show him some love and check out his channel tonight. But that's where Producer Seeps is as well. He's hanging out with Marshall Green. So coming up on the program, we got some surprise cut candidates, and we also got some roster news that literally came in seconds before we went live. But here at Chat Sports, we have the best behind-the-scenes support in the business. So my guy, Producer Chip, and all the other guys in the office were able to get some extra graphics for you together. So we were able to break down the roster news that just went down. We also got some trade targets for the New Orleans Saints. I got 5 players and a handful of honorable mention guys that I'm interested in. I'm not saying they're realistic, but I would be interested in adding to the roster. And on top of that, you guys always know we like to end the show with a mailbag. Shout out to you guys. The last mailbag did over 11,000 views, and that's because you asked awesome questions. So if you guys want to help me out and we can have another video this weekend, use hashtag Saints, send in a super chat, and we can have a grand old time. Man, I'm so pumped up for this live show. It's going to be a really, really good time, and we're 3 likes away from 30, but I'm getting the word in my ear that that's okay as long as we get 30 likes by the end of the first segment. So you got about 10 minutes to get me 3 more likes. It's what the bosses are saying. It's not me. It's what the bosses are saying.
Come on, baby. Look at that jacket. If anything, give a thumbs up.
Yeah, like it for the jacket. Man. Don't like it for me. Like it for the jacket. I mean, the chubby bearded guy rocking the jacket definitely looks pretty cool, but the jacket is what we're all here for, right? That's what we're here for, right? I mean, come on. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. 31 likes. Let's get it going. Who Dat Nation? We got some black and gold news coming at you right about now. Y'all stay tuned. It's going to be a fun show. What is going on, Who Dat Nation? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. So we're going to be discussing some cut candidates, and specifically surprise cut candidates that the New Orleans Saints could possibly move on from in the rest of the offseason process, through training camps, through roster cutdowns, through all of the OTAs and everything, because New Orleans has actually already started to make some cuts on the roster. So my question is, who's next? But in terms of who has already been released from the roster, Field Yates posting this just a few minutes ago, New Orleans has waived quarterback Kellen Mond and offensive lineman Tommy Kramer. So that's the latest updates in terms of the Saints roster and the Saints news and everything going on with the black and gold. And we're going to get into some more cut candidates here in just one moment. But I do want to do a quick selfish plug here. If you want more Saints coverage, go give me a follow. It's at Trace Girouard 48_. I made a new Instagram account because I had my personal account. It had a lot of pictures of me and my family and my friends and all that fun stuff. But I wanted to do one that's Saints-specific, and I wanted to give you guys more coverage on more platforms. So if you give me a follow at Trace Girouard 48, you will get more coverage, jersey swaps, short videos, all sorts of fun stuff. So help me out, help me build my following, and get more coverage for yourself. Now, I do need to make this quick little, note, if you will, a community note, as they like to say on Twitter. This video is not me saying I hate these players. The amount of times I've seen on social media and the amount of times in the comment section I've seen, Trace, you're talking about Marshawn Lattimore trade. You must hate him. Or, Trace, why the hell would you want to trade Alvin Kamara? You must hate him. Or, Trace, you hate this player because you said you wanted to cut him. No, that's not at all what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, this is a business, and there's limited roster spots, and I'm going to take the 53 best players on my roster to build my football team. So let's kick it off with running back Jamaal Williams. And now, why I think that he could be a roster cut candidate and surprise cut candidate, it's no surprise with how bad the production was for Williams last year. I mean, he only had one touchdown, and it came on the last offensive play of the season for New Orleans. Now, he also averaged less than 3 yards per carry, which is not good. By any means, that is not good. And I'm not here to sit around and try and make excuses and try and, give this guy a ton of leeway as to why it's okay. But I will say this, it was underwhelming, and especially after leading the NFL in rushing touchdowns just a year before. You only have one? I mean, come the heck on. Now, to be fair to the player, I absolutely love Jamaal Williams, for the record. I think he's a really fun player. I love the things that he adds to the team in the locker room and behind the scenes as well. But I also think he is a good player that was just mismanaged and not utilized correctly. If you have better production from the offensive line, if you have better play calling, I think you get much better production from Jamaal Williams. But I will say this, there is a running back with a similar size profile waiting in the distance and kind of hanging around. You got Jacob Kibodi, who was a undrafted free agent that the Saints added this undrafted free agency class, who's an inch taller and a pound heavier. And not to mention, Kendre Miller has been such a fun player, and there's so much positive upside around him that it's kind of hard to ignore what Jamaal Williams it's hard to ignore that Jamaal Williams may be expendable. Like, that's just the reality of the world we live in. Again, I don't want to cut Williams. I like the player. I think he's a fun guy to have in the locker room. But if it comes down to who's going to get me the most wins, that's a conversation that I think us as fans in the front office needs to be willing to have. So I will give you a quick reminder to subscribe because our offseason coverage isn't slowing down whatsoever. We're trying to get to 27,500 subscribers with this video. We only need 8, so I need 8 of you to hit that big red sub button. If you're not going to sub for me, sub for this fresh jacket that my guy Randy Lemoyne sent in to the mail. So shout out to you, Randy, and also don't forget to subscribe. Surprise cut candidate number 2, we got Juwan Johnson on here. Now, this is honestly for me, like, I wouldn't do this. I would not cut Juwan Johnson personally, but there is a path that he could get moved on from. So let's break it down real quick. He has been a reliable player for New Orleans since he signed as an undrafted free agent out of Oregon just a handful of years ago. He moved from wide receiver to tight end, and to be honest, it was actually a pretty seamless move. It was very smooth, and he was very productive as a tight end. And the size profile at 6'4", 231 pounds is incredible. And the combination of that with his athleticism makes him a player that I think is extremely valuable and that the Saints can get a lot of good football production out of. And he's coming off a down year, so you can't disregard that. He had some injury issues that he was dealing with. But there's also a guy in the UDFA class who a lot of NFL experts are saying might be the steal of the undrafted free agency class. And Dallin Holker, excuse me. I keep saying the name wrong, but that's just me. The Saints signed him out of Colorado State as an undrafted free agent, and this is a player who is extremely, extremely intriguing as a prospect. 6'3", almost 6'4", 234 pounds, which is pretty nice in terms of his size. Bigger than Juwan Johnson, at least in his weight category. About the same height, but the production was really, really good. He really broke out this past year for the Rams, spent some time with BYU where he didn't have a ton of good production, but he was really, really good with Colorado State. 767 yards, 6 touchdowns. The guy has long arms. He has an incredible catch radius, and I think that he has a very realistic chance to make this roster. So, and honestly, I don't think that they're actually going to cut any of the tight ends. I was kind of going back and forth between Juwan Johnson, Foster Moreau, like maybe one of them get moved on. Because at first I was like, I just don't see the Saints carrying more than 3 tight ends. They did it last year. Would they not do it this year? Like, they did it last year. You had Juwan Johnson, Foster Moreau, Taysom Hill, and Jimmy Graham, all on the tight end depth chart. So this year, I think it's more realistic that they actually carry 4 tight ends again, and then rather than cutting Juwan Johnson or a Foster Moreau. So I personally think Dallin Holker will make the roster. But I want to ask you that question as well. Do you think that he is going to be on the 53-man roster week 1? Do you think Dallin Holker is going to be catching passes on the field in week 1? Will he make the roster? Just give me a simple yes or a simple no. Now, Payton Turner is a player that a lot of Saints fans, including myself, have just been kind of fed up with, I guess is the right way to say it. And he's not I don't want to say he's not a bad player. We don't know. We just don't know because he hasn't hardly played at all. He's played 15 games in 3 seasons. He hasn't even played a full season's worth of games yet, guys. And the production when he has played, still pretty underwhelming. This is strictly business. This has nothing to do with the person. It has nothing to do with the individual. This is a business decision. I think that a team that has financial issues cannot pay money to players who don't play football. You already moved on from Michael Thomas. You cannot be afraid and tuck your tail and run away when it comes to moving on from a first-round pick in Payton Turner who hasn't honestly done shit for your team. And the Saints' depth chart at the defensive line is much, much better than it was, I would say, last year. And honestly, much better than it was coming into the offseason this year. I love Carl Granderson. I'm excited to see what he can do in another season with the black and gold. Colin Saunders and Nathan Shepard, both of those guys are very fun in their own respective reasons. Nathan Shepard, a really productive defensive tackle, honestly more productive than Colin Saunders. However, Saunders also offered a lot, extra stuff where he was lining up and lead blocking for Taysom Hill, and he was lining up as a receiver and doing all this other stuff. Chase Young, really talented player that has a ton of upside. But then you also have Tano Passanio, Cam Jordan, Isaiah Foskey, Trajan Jeffcoat, Nico Lalos. You got guys that can dethrone Payton Turner and challenge him for time on the field. Why would you not move on from him? I just think it's time to turn the page, end the story with Payton Turner, and start fresh. It's what they had to do with Marcus Davenport. You're going to have to do it with this guy as well. But if he does stay on the roster, please prove me wrong, Payton Turner. I'm begging you. So another surprise cut candidate, and honestly, this was probably the biggest surprise in my opinion, Pete Werner. I think that Pete Werner is at risk of losing his roster spot, and I'm going to go into full detail why here in just 1 second. But we got some fresh hats for the summer. So if you want to get this icy Saints hat on sale, go to chatsports.com/Saints hats. The link is also available in the comment section and description of this video. You also have the draft hats. You got this really cool tropical hat that actually I'm thinking about getting. I'm going on another trip to Mexico, fun fact, with my family at the end of summer, so maybe this is the lid that I'm rocking. Or if you like the old school shield, you like the old school logo, kind of similar to right over here. It's on the helmet, but still. you can get this hat. It's a pretty cool dad cap, chatsports.com/Saints hat. And this one I actually really, really like. It's like a athletic material. It's really thin, very breathable, very comfortable hat. And I think that the script on it is so cool. I mean, this one is definitely going to be added to my shopping cart. But if you're a bucket hat kind of guy, or you need something by the pool, you want to try and keep yourself not looking red like me after I got back from my vacation, chatsports.com/Saints hat. We got a ton of hats, not just the ones you saw on your screen. We got so many more options as well. Any size, any hat, any style you want, we got you covered if you use our link in the comments and description of the video. So Pete Werner getting back on track. He is a hot and cold type of player to me. So what I mean by that, you have a player in Pete Werner who's a damn good tackler and an extremely productive football player. But then he misses a ton of tackles, and he's really bad in coverage. I mean, he only had 10 passes where he was targeted, and he was the guy in coverage that weren't caught. Like, that's not good, guys. That's very, very bad. And I will say this. They added Jaylen Ford in the draft in round 5. I'm not going to say invested, like, high capital in him, but a 5th-round pick is not a 7th-round pick. Like, I think that if he's a good player, he has a good chance to make the roster. And I will say on top of that, I do love Pete Werner. I think he's a really talented player, and I think that he has the skill set to be a good linebacker. But we've been kind of playing this, he's going to break out, he's going to break out, he's going to break out, and it just hasn't really happened. And sure, the production's really good for him, and he had 93 tackles last year. He's had over 100 tackles in these other seasons, and he's a good football player, and he's a smart, intellectual guy, and they invested in him in the draft. But Jaylen Ford just is a little bit better in terms of the production. Again, college and NFL, very different games, very different speeds. So it's not quite apples to apples for me. But I will say this, it is a little bit like apples to pears. I mean, Jaylen Ford, you can get a player who is really good in coverage, who's really good tackler, who can get to the backfield and make plays, who can tackle the quarterback, and who can also just be an overall good defensive player. Whereas Pete Werner, you can see on the screen, it just hasn't been the same production. It's been good, but it's not been great. And here's the thing. I'm tired of mediocrity. I want greatness on my football team. So, again, and that wasn't me saying Pete Werner's mediocre. I don't want mediocre football. I want great football. But Blake Grupe is the last cut candidate for this video. And to be honest, it's not like a surprise that we're talking about him as a cut candidate. I mean, a lot of Saints fans were not happy with the production that Blake Grupe had last year. I mean, he was 10 for 12 from 20 to 30 yards. He was perfect from 30 to 40, but when he got 40 on, it was a little bit bad again. And, he was good 6 times from 50 plus, which as a rookie, I'm not going to lie, that's pretty solid. But there's also somebody that the New Orleans Saints brought in the offseason by the name of Charlie Smith. And if you guys don't remember who Charlie Smith is, I made a video about him a while back. He's an Irish Gaelic football player that was a goalkeeper, and he also kicked the ball really far and kicked the ball really deep. And the dude is really, really good. And at his scouting combine, he had a couple different workouts. He was 12 for 16 with a long of 50. And then at the USF Pro Day, he was 8 for 10 with a long of 60 yards. And worth noting in the combine, a bunch of his misses were early on and, shaking off the nerves. And then once you get him out, I mean, he's automatic, and he was kicking the ball far as hell. But I did also, in case you guys didn't know this or you guys missed this clip, I posted a video on our Shorts tab and on my social media pages as well. So if you haven't seen it yet, I encourage you to go check it out if you want to see it in a couple different times, or if you want to see it on a little bit bigger of a screen. But I put out this short a little bit ago, so I'm going to play it here for you guys. And basically, I'm just going to be kind of explaining the Saints signed a kicker. Blake Grupe's going to have some competition in training camp. But just give me a few seconds, because Charlie Smith nails a 63-yard field goal where, he slices it into another time zone and nails it right down the middle. So let's just see what this clip has to say. Guys, this player is damn good. The New Orleans Saints have recently signed Irish kicker Charlie Smith to their roster, and I saw this clip on social media the other day of him nailing a 63-yarder
but look at the bend that this guy puts on the ball. Needless to say, Blake Grupe, you might be on the hot seat.
All right, look at that. All the way over, right down the middle.
159, 159.
He did that at IMG Academy, and he was like trying to train and practicing, getting ready to sign. This video surfaces, and a few days later, I'm trying to remember if I had it correct. The video surfaces a few days later, the Saints signed the player, or it was vice versa. But point being, this video and the news came out around the same time. It made me very excited about this player. And on top of that, when I was trying to do a little bit more research on Charlie Smith, I found this write-up from the Irish News. And they said that the young down shot stopper, Charlie Smith, converted 8 of his 10 efforts, including one from 60 yards. And at 22 years old, Smith has the highest ceiling out of any of the 5 kickers that are taking part in the NFL Combine. So I think that Charlie Smith is coming for Blake Grupe's job, and Charlie Smith even said it himself. I'm not signing to be a backup. I'm not signing just hang out on the practice squad. I want to play. I want to be an NFL football player. So pick your kicker for me. CS for Charlie Smith, BG for Blake Grupe. Who's going to be the kicker? And I'm going to give an honorable mention to Adam Prentice. Xander Horvath, he's a fullback that the New Orleans Saints signed. He spent some time with the Chargers in the past. He can bring a lot to the offense. Like, kind of picture him as a Kyle Juszczyk light. He can block, he can run, he can catch the ball. He's just a reliable football player. Clint Kubiak views Horvath very highly and has a lot of respect for the player. So I think that is a move that could mean that Prentice is on the way out. And we all remember the fumble that happened, last season, and just right on the goal line. All you have to do is just not fumble it, and he did the one thing you couldn't do. So, Adam Prentice, not that I have anything against the player. I just really think that Xander Horvath brings a couple different traits to the offense and adds more dynamic ability to the offense, if that makes some sense. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. Thank you, Randy, for sending me the jacket one more time. I just had to show you some love, my man. But if you haven't already and you guys enjoyed the content and you want more Saints coverage, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. It's 100% free, but y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time. Boom. All right, I am going to take the jacket off, Randy, because I'm a little toasty. The studio is hot, and Texas is really hot too, so don't you worry. It's going back on the hanger. I just wanted to rock it for a little bit for you, my man. I wanted to wear it for just a few minutes for you while we showed some love and talked ball. Oh my gosh, dude, it's like I'm like significantly cooler now. The fan's hitting.
That thing's heavy, but that thing is
fresh.
So cool.
It's so cool. It's just it's hard to wear in the summer. Like it's hard to wear in the summer because it's such like a nice thick jacket that like the minute it gets less than 50 degrees, I will never be cold. I will never be cold.
Oh, no way. And you're looking fresh. You're looking sweet, baby.
Looking like the coolest
I
guy
saw
in
you
the
put it on. I was like, dang.
Looking like the coolest kid this side of the block, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we got some trade targets coming up next. We got a bunch of really interesting trade stuff. A lot of players that I really like. In case you guys missed the news, Kellen Mond, he has been released by the New Orleans Saints, as has Tommy Kramer, the offensive lineman. So that's worth noting, and that's worth, kind of giving you guys that refresher if you guys are just now tuning in to today's live show. So Kellen Mond leaving, that does, I will say this, open up the ability to have Chris Olave wear number 2, which would be pretty freaking cool. I also did, when I was scripting this out, I was thinking about going Ugo Amadi as one, but I was like, he might not be a surprise cut candidate. He wears number 0. And when I did had Maddie do me a jersey swap for Kool-Aid McKinstry, I put it in 0. So could you imagine Kool-Aid McKinstry 0, Alontae Taylor 1, Chris Olave 2?
Clean. That's clean.
That might be the cleanest start of numbers in the NFL.
He's wearing 34, I saw, right?
Kool-Aid, yeah.
Dude, number 0 would have been so much better, dude.
Funny enough, Marshawn Lattimore wore 34 in training camp.
Really? So thinking maybe he switches that up.
Yeah, it'll be, once some of these roster cuts go down, some of the numbers will open up.
Yeah, it's just what's available right now.
Jamaal Williams was he was a different number than, I can't remember what number he wore in training camp last year, but he had a new number because he was 21 when the season started.
I love 0, but I think
Zero's a great number.
if you're wearing 0, you gotta play up to wearing 0.
You have to be that guy. You have to be that
guy.
motherfucker. You cannot be halfway good. You got to be either a lockdown, just shut down corner, like incredibly good DB, or if you're like a touchdown, or if you're a wide receiver who's just like, I'm gonna burn you. I'm going 0 to 100 real fast. Like,
got to be a speedster. Hey, you know what? That's why we're 0 for the chat basketball team.
oh yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
because you're the best player on the team.
Yeah.
Best player on the team. All right, so we got some trade candidates coming up. Really quick in the comment section, I need you to shout out a trade target that you want the Saints to go after, and I also need you to hit the thumbs up icon. We're at 50 likes. That's really, really great. Can we get to 69? Can we get to 69 likes? That'd be very nice. Very nice. That'd be really fun. KD says he's got his Taysom Hill jersey in on the mail. Cool. I'm jealous. I'm trying to get my Taysom Hill jersey soon. I still don't have one. Believe it or not, I still don't have one. So if anyone wants to hook a brother up with one, I can send you my address. Randy is headed to the dentist. Have fun at the dentist, my friend. I'll see you next week. Thanks for rocking the jacket. Who dat? Great show. Randy, hope you have a great teeth cleaning. Hope everything's going good with the pearly whites, and I hope you don't have any cavities, my friend. All righty. Let's do it. I see Patrick Mahomes. I see Trey Hendrickson. Hey, get weird. Get freaking weird with it. We're going to have some fun today. It's the offseason, man. Like, I think we can all just take a step back and relax a little bit. It's the offseason. Let's have some fun. Any news on Simmons? No. And honestly, no news is good news. Because the more time that passes, the cheaper he gets, and the more in the Saints' price range he gets. Just going to put that out there. I'm just saying. All right, dude, I got to, this wire is, pulling this thing down. Okay, there
You
we go.
good, brother?
Thank you, brother. All right, so let's do this thing. Adam Sandler, the water boy. Yes, line him up as a linebacker. Or make him replace, what's his name? Well, Zach Bond's gone. Pete Werner. Yeah, make him replace Pete Werner. That's who I was. Yeah, thank you, Chip. Brain fart. It'd be like that. All right, let's talk about it before I forget what we're talking about, too. Hey, guys, I have one quick question for you. Do you think that the New Orleans Saints will make the playoffs in 2024? Now, I'm not asking are they going to win the division. I'm not asking are they going to win the Super Bowl. I'm not asking what they're going to be ranked. I just want to know, are they going to make the playoffs? If you think yes, I need you to hit the thumbs up icon and like the video. If you think they won't, feel free to get to the comment section and explain why. Because I think that the Saints are a lock to make the playoffs this year. So prove me wrong down in the comment section, or prove me right as well with the likes. So coming up in today's video, we're going to be discussing some New Orleans Saints trade targets. And I'm going to go through a list of about 5 guys. We have some honorable mention players as well. And I'm going to just make this preface right now. A lot of these are not realistic. A lot of these likely won't happen. And it's worth remembering a trade requires 2 teams. It takes 2 to tango here. So just because I want them and I'm making a video about them doesn't mean I think it's going to happen or it's 100% going to happen. So I'm just going to go ahead and have some fun with it. It's the offseason, so let's break it on down. The first offensive player that I want to discuss, or the first trade target I guess I want to discuss, is offensive tackle Jonah Williams, who signed with the Arizona Cardinals in free agency. Now, you guys might be sitting here scratching your head being like, what is this red sunburnt, bearded, husky dude saying? Well, what I'm basically saying here is there's not a lot of options at offensive tackle. Teams don't move on from their top offensive linemen. It's hard to trade for offensive linemen because a lot of them are off the trade market at this point. Now, Jonah Williams is a player that could bring some good to the New Orleans Saints. He was a first-round pick, number 11 overall, actually, by the Bengals just a handful of years ago, back in 2019. And he can play both tackle spots. He's played a lot at the left tackle position. He's played a lot at the right tackle position. But, again, he's had a 2-year, $30 million contract with the Arizona Cardinals. And, again, don't shoot the messenger here. I'm just trying to tell you I brought this name up for a reason. There are not many offensive tackles that are available on the trade block. A lot of the offensive tackles that were available in free agency were there for a good reason. Teams don't move on from great offensive linemen because it's so hard to come by them. And that is why I think the best case scenario, Trevor Penning just takes the lead. Trevor Penning just turns out to be a good left tackle. Doesn't have to be great. He doesn't have to be all pro. Just good. And then on top of that, you have Josiah Aziram, who you drafted with your last pick in the draft this year, who also played left tackle. And to be honest, he's a player who I think could add some value as well. And I do think that it would make some sense to bring in another offensive lineman because the Saints did waive Tommy Kramer. But Josiah Aziram, worth noting, he was part of the offensive line at Eastern Kentucky that ranked 3rd nationally and passing offense per game with 329.7 yards per game and 5th in 3rd down conversion percentage at .519 in 2022. So that's pretty interesting. This kid comes in being very productive as an offensive lineman, giving his team plenty of time to convert on 3rd down and to convert and make plays offensively. So if Trevor Penning can just take a leap and Josiah Aziram can be okay, I think that's the best case scenario. I don't think anything's going to happen in terms of a trade for offensive linemen. But you tell me, Saints fans, do you think that Penning will improve in year 3? Now, obviously, year 1, we barely even got to see him. Year 2, he got benched pretty quickly. But year 3, this is when the pressure's on, in my opinion. So just give me a yes or give me a no in the comments. I personally think we're going to see some improvement because it's really hard to be worse than what we've already seen. So I'm going to type my yeses, but I want to hear what your thoughts are in the comment section. So Trey Hendrickson, a very familiar face and a beautiful, beautiful man that should have never left the state of Louisiana. Shame on you, Mickey Loomis. Shame on you, Saints front office, for not keeping this absolute dog in the locker room. Now, Trey Hendrickson was a 3rd-round pick by the Saints in 2017. He has been so damn good in the NFL, and oh my goodness, I wish New Orleans still had him. He ranked 28th in sacks in 2023 the Saints, ranked 28th in sacks in 2023 with 34 sacks. However, if you add in Trey Hendrickson's 17.5 sacks, you see at the bottom of that note, the New Orleans Saints would have been number 6 in the total sack production last year. Let that sit for a second. If you just added this one player, you go from the 28th best, essentially the 4th worst sack production, to the 6th best. Like, that is insane. Now, on top of that, I think that there's a void to fill, if you will. I think that there is a spot for Trey Hendrickson because here's the deal. Carl Granderson's great, but Trey Hendrickson's much better. Chase Young, really good. But again, Hendrickson, much, much better. Cam Jordan, really good. Hendrickson, much better. You see the theme where I'm going with? You see what I'm trying to put out here? I don't think that the Saints defensive line is in a bad situation. But I do think that it could get better. And I want more sack production. I'm a greedy son of a gun when it comes to getting sacks. And to be quite honest, I said it once and I'll say it again. Hendrickson should have never left the state of Louisiana. He should have never left the city of New Orleans. He should have never left the black and gold. This man should have never been given the opportunity to work for another franchise, to wear another jersey, to put on a different helmet. Trey Hendrickson should definitely try and come back to New Orleans. I am all for it. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's very realistic. And to be honest, I would be so surprised if it did. But if it did happen, I'm telling you right now, I'm going crazy and I'm losing my mind, and we're going to be going live and breaking it down and honestly having the biggest party that New Orleans may have ever seen on the internet. So here's the deal, though. I got to tell you really quick about Prize Picks, today's presenting sponsor, and then we'll get back to some more trade targets. But Prize Picks is daily fantasy sports made easy. It's not gambling, it's not sports betting, it's daily fantasy sports. So you pick 2 or more players, choose more or less based on their projected stats, and boom, you can make some money. So I wanted to cook up some new projections because I've talked about the same ones a couple times, and I'm a guy who, maybe I change my mind on some stuff. Maybe I want to do a couple different projections. So here's a projection that I cooked up in a little slate, if you will. Caleb Williams, over the course of the season, I have him having more than 3,400 and a half passing yards. Brock Bowers, I'm going with less than 700. I like Bowers as a player, but who in the hell is going to be throwing him the football? Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell? Yeah, I'm okay. We'll see how that goes. And Derrick Henry, 10.5 rushing touchdowns. I mean, if Gus Edwards can go crazy, you're telling me that the King can't? I love what Derrick Henry's capable of. I still think that he's a good player. Sure, he's a little bit slower, but that doesn't matter when you're within the 3-yard line. So I'm going with more than 10.5 rushing touchdowns this season. If you want to fade those picks, if you want to tail those picks, I don't really care what you do. Just make sure you do it with Prize Picks. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Plug in that promo code CLNS. You'll get a first-time deposit match up to $100. Shout out to Prize Picks for making today's shows possible. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. All of the information is in the comment section and description of the video. Now, Deebo Samuel is definitely a name that I think Saints fans should at least keep in the back of their heads. And I don't think it's a realistic trade, but I think if any of the trades that we're going to discuss today were to go down, it would likely be Deebo, and I'm not even very confident that it's to New Orleans. But the Saints could use a weapon like Deebo Samuel, and to be quite honest, I want somebody who's damn good in yards after the catch. The New Orleans Saints were not great when yards after the catch. They don't really have a yak guy, and that's why a lot of people were high on Malachi Corley in the second round, and a lot of people were high on Malik Washington later in the draft, who those are very yak-centric players where they're going to just get the ball and they're just going to make it happen on the ground. But you see the numbers on your screen. He is a multi-dimensional player. He is a really talented guy. The contract, though, is very, very expensive, and it's very, very concerning. However, as we all know, if there's any team that knows how to get themselves out of a financial pickle, it's the New Orleans Saints. Now, I want you to pick a trade candidate for me. Do you like the idea of going defense and bringing back Trey Hendrickson for a reunion? Or do you want to go boost that offense and give Derek Carr no reason to fail? Just type a DS for Deebo Samuel. So kicking it back to the defensive side of the ball, I should say. What about Jonathan Allen out of Washington, for the Washington Commanders? You know, I think that this is definitely a player who could be on the trade block, and I'm actually not the only person who thinks that. Jeremy Fowler, he even had a write-up about it, and here's what he said. The people I've talked to believe Washington will need to either rework his contract eventually or decide whether it will entertain trade interest, which has rebuffed in the past. Now, I do think that New Orleans needs to be a better team at stopping the run. I mean, we made guys like Tyson Bagent and Tommy DeVito look like just really, really good rushing. They made them look like Lamar. They looked like Lamar frickin' Jackson with how much they was running and how good that they were playing. And not necessarily throwing the ball, but on the ground. And I mean, it just feels like so many times it was quarterback drops back, pressure's coming in, moves up in the pocket, breaks away for a 15-yard run. I think Jonathan Allen would do a good job of stopping that. And the Commanders did actually draft Johnny Newton out of Illinois in round 2, so maybe they're a little bit more comfortable with moving on from Allen as well. And the production for the player was really, really good. He can stop the run. He can stop the pass. He can pressure the quarterback. He is a player that I'm really, really high on and I would love to see in the black and gold. But I don't think there's any player that I want to see in the black and gold more than the guy you see on screen right now, and his name is Treylon Burks, the Arkansas legend. Now, I understand a lot of you guys are going to get over here and be like, Trace, shut your damn mouth. You're an idiot. You don't know ball. What the hell are you doing? This guy stinks. Well, maybe I agree with you. I think that he hasn't been that great, but I know a minute ago I said Deebo Samuel maybe feels like a possible one. I think Treylon Burks is actually the most realistic on this list. Burks does fit what the New Orleans Saints need. The Saints need a big-bodied X-receiver, somebody who they can line up in the slot, somebody who can make contested catches, who can take up space over the middle and fill that Michael Thomas role, the void that is there currently. And Treylon Burks is that at 6'2", 225 pounds. Now, he's a first-round pick out of the Harvard of the Ozarks, Arkansas Razorbacks, probably the greatest college football team in all of history and the greatest college that's ever existed. You cannot, if you disagree, argue with a brick wall. but he only played 11 games in the 2 seasons that he's been active. And it's also worth noting, it feels like they're trying to the Titans are trying to push him out and kind of, weed him out, if you will. They signed Tyler Boyd, which I wish the Saints would have done. They brought in DeAndre Hopkins last year. Last year. But on top of that, they also added other players in free agency, and they've been active in adding other talent and whatnot to the wide receiver room. But Treylon Burks, the production, even in his limited career, or in his limited sample size of his career, it's not been good. 2 touchdowns, but one of those was a receiving touchdown. One of those was recovering a fumble that Derrick Henry had going into the end zone. So, even that's a little bit of a misconstrued number. So the production, even for a first-round receiver taken in round 1, it's still not that good for a single season, let alone 2 seasons as a whole. But I do think that this is a player that was put in a bad situation. He was put in a team that new front office, new quarterback situation. They didn't really have a reliable whenever he was at Arkansas. He changed games. He made the Arkansas Razorback football team a good football team, and he made that offense a good offense with KJ Jefferson. Look at this catch. You don't see it, but at one point the ball is up way the hell up here, and he catches it on his fingertips, focus, brings it down, toe tap swag, brings it in for the touchdown to make the Ole Miss Dirty Rebels have to hold that L for that Treylon Burks catch, because it was absolutely sick. Shout out to that guy for being in the highlight reel. But again, I'm not saying that he's a great player and he's going to be a Michael Thomas guy. I'm saying, though, if you want somebody who is an X receiver, you probably only have to invest a 7th round pick. Why the hell not? Why would you not try and add a cheap, very young player that fits the position of need that you are missing in the wide receiver group? So some honorable mentions that we should at least throw their names out. DK Metcalf, I don't think that he's a player the Saints could afford necessarily, but maybe they want to go and get a big body guy for all the same reason they want Treylon Burks. Maybe they want to go get DK Metcalf, but just a better version of that, more expensive version of it. Budda Baker, he's a good safety, but the production last year wasn't nearly as good as it was in the previous seasons, and I do think that the Saints should look to add a veteran safety, whether it's a Justin Simmons or a trade for a guy like a Budda Baker or something. I think a veteran safety presence would not hurt alongside Tyrann Mathieu. T. Higgins is still a wide receiver that I would love the Saints to go and grab. I think that he would be a good fit in New Orleans. And to be honest, I don't know if this Bengals will trade T. Higgins. It's just I would like that to happen. Again, this is players that I want to possibly trade for. Courtland Sutton, another wide receiver. There's a pipeline between Denver and New Orleans, and they've already shipped off Jerry Jeudy, so what's to say they're not about to ship off Courtland Sutton? They drafted Troy Franklin in the draft this year as well, so maybe they're looking to, get a little bit extra draft capital and get off some contracts. But I want you to shout them out for me. If you made it to the end of the video, congratulations. You have earned the title as a real one. So here's your dream draft target. I want you to get absolutely crazy. If your dream quarterback is Patrick Mahomes, if your dream wide receiver is Justin Jefferson, if you want, I don't even know. If you want a punter, if you want Thomas Morstead, to be our punter again, you can put him down. Have fun, get crazy, get weird. It's the off season. This is a place where I'm not going to listen to everybody saying it's not realistic. You need to shut up. No, it's the off season. We're allowed to have fun, and I'm inviting you to have some fun. But y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time. To be honest, I feel like I rambled there for so long about nothing. I feel like I just said a lot of words that didn't really say anything. Kind of blacked out for a minute. I just kind of was talking. I was just talking ball.
Just going. Hey.
And then Treylon Burks came up, and I was like, there's my sweet prince.
You can do it in your sleep.
Yeah. Saints new owner says that's Arkansas. He can't do the same thing in the NFL. Well, we don't know that because he hasn't played. We don't know if he can't do that. I think he can. Everything that I've seen, when I watched it with my own 2 eyes at Donald W. Razorback Stadium, I saw a player who can be a big-time NFL receiver, who can make a positive impact on a team. Doesn't have to be a wide receiver 1. He shouldn't be a wide receiver 1, but he could be a great wide receiver 2 or slot or wide receiver 3 option. College is college. I agree. But also, how are you going to say he can't do the same thing when he hasn't been given the opportunity to do the same thing? It goes two ways, Saints new owner. It goes two ways here. I'm just saying. I get what you're saying, but you understand where I'm coming from as well. And again, I'm not saying these were realistic targets. It's who I wanted to. I went to Arkansas. Of course I want an Arkansas Razorback on my freaking roster. Are you kidding me? Treylon Burks was the best player, my favorite player when I was at Arkansas, not college. So my show, my video, I'm going to put who I want in there. Mikey Taylor,
Tell him.
$5 super chat. What up, everyone? Been busy today, but I made it. Did I miss anything good? Mikey, we did some cut candidates. We've talked about some trade targets. We're actually about to get into a mailbag here where we're going to take questions from the Who Dat Nation, and we're going to be talking some ball. So I really do think you didn't miss anything big. The Saints cut Kellen Mond and Tommy Kramer. Number 2 is available for Chris Olave to take, which if he takes number 2, shout out to me for waiting to buy his jersey because I would have bought a 12.
Smart play.
I would have bought a 12. So
Smart play.
Shout out to young Trizzy. Alrighty, let's go with it. All right, we got another segment coming up. It's a mailbag. So use hashtag Saints, or better yet, send in a super chat. How are we looking on questions, Chip?
Well, it actually, we had a couple questions. We had like 2 or 3 questions.
And the
then
system bugged out.
We briefly lost internet for like a couple seconds, and it got rid of all of them.
Damn brutal.
So if you've asked, I know Queen Courtney asked a question. Someone else asked a question about like I think guys in the bubble of the roster. I'm not sure who it was. Regardless, if you asked a question, if you haven't yet, get in the chat right now. Hashtag Saints, send in a super chat. We'll get those questions here on the mailbag. Let's get it, baby. Let's get some good ones.
Let's get some questions rolling. If you want to get on the show, I need a hashtag Saints, ask a question, share a hot take, a trade idea. You can say, I think the Saints are going to cut this guy. I think we should trade for this player. I want us to have this many wins. I think the hardest game is going to be here. Like, whatever you guys want to do, this is your opportunity to write the show for me. Last week we had a mailbag that did over 11,000 views, and that's because you guys came with the heat. You guys really, really good questions. So this is your chance to let me know what your questions are so we can have more people see your beautiful faces, your awesome questions, and see how much ball you guys know. Sorry to hiccup.
Let's go, baby.
No, Derek Carr, you cannot trade him. He has a no-trade clause. So you cannot trade Dennis Allen or Derek Carr. Also, I don't understand everyone saying trade Mickey Loomis or get rid of him. I don't get it. I'm going to be honest. Hot take. I don't get it. Mickey Loomis has done everything right this offseason. Everything he's done has been right. He has not made a bad move yet. I'm saying it right now. Mickey Loomis has not made a bad move this offseason. I was in the boat of this is the offseason to either save your job or lose it, and right now he is saving it in my eyes. He has done everything right.
Look at Mikey Taylor.
There we go, Mikey. There we go, Mikey. We need a few more. We definitely need a few more. So use hashtag Saints. Better yet, send in a super chat.
Just like Mikey did. Hashtag Saints in your question so we can get it up here.
Also, anybody who's wondering, I just got a message from the shipping department. If you guys had a Mardi Gras hat, one of those light-up cowboy hats coming in, we just got them shipped out to you. Our shipping department just dropped them in the mail today, so those should be headed to you. We just had to get... Funny enough, not a lot of boxes that we have fit cowboy hats, so we didn't want to crumble it up and just send it to you. We wanted to send it to you at least looking decently okay, so we had to throw that in there. But worth noting, so if you guys have a Mardi Gras cowboy hat coming, you have it in the mail now. So, booyah. And Randy, your MVP football is as well headed into the mail. Coolio Julio. Hashtag Saints. Hashtag Saints. Mikey, yes, the puzzle that you won, we're getting that ordered today. To be honest, I just forgot to hit submit. I was looking at the order form today. Forgot to hit submit. So, big miss on my part. Sorry about it, buddy. But we will get it to you ASAP. Who would be the best linebacker we can get in free agency? Pete Werner got to go. All right, Queen Courtney, good question. I like it.
Nice.
I like it. Yeah, Mikey. No, all right, words, bro. Just checking. I got you, brother. I got you. We will have it to you sooner rather than later. Coolio. How we looking, Chip? Do we need more questions?
Couple more, baby.
Couple more questions. Just need a few more. Kyle, we'll definitely get your question in on the chat. Dallin Holker takes tight end 2. I don't know. Something about Clint Kubiak with a tight end that has beautiful long hair. Feels like it worked in the past. George Kittle. Does that remind you of anybody, Chip?
Who? What?
Does one of the guys said Dallin Holker takes tight end 2. Does Clint Kubiak being successful with a tight end with long hair, does that sound familiar?
Maybe a little
A
bit.
little bit George Kittle?
Might be someone that rings my mind.
Me too. All righty. It looks like we're getting a few more questions as well. Earl, we'll get you on the show too, my man. No, absolutely not. I'm not doing Quan Alexander anymore. He stinks. Quan Alexander is officially bad. He's officially reached being bad. I'm going to pull up his stats for you, and I'm going to read how bad he was. Quan Alexander. 9 games played. He started 2. He had 1 interception, same as Pete Werner. 1 pass deflected. 1 forced fumble. 1 sack. 41 tackles. 2 quarterback hits. 5 tackles for loss. I'm good. I'm good. Richard, if you want to get on the show, use hashtag Saints. And then Saints new owner. Is that it? Yeah, we'll get you on the show. I want to make sure we got it. Who dat to you too, Rose City. All right, we're gonna get the mailbag going here. And we're going to talk some ball. We're going to answer your questions, take your hot takes, and we're going to have some fun in the process. I hope you guys are having a good day. I know I'm having a good day. And yeah, it's going to be a blast. Can we actually trade for Davante Adams? Let me pull up his contract. You could last year. It was actually a very tradable contract. Okay, so Davante Adams, he has in 2024. 1 second, Chev. I just want to make sure I have these numbers correct. So he has. Why is this not showing me his stuff here? 1 second. If you were to trade Davante Adams now, there would be $23.5 million in dead money, which the team you trade that trades for Davante Adams wouldn't pay the dead money. The trade post June 1 has dead money of $7.8 million and $17.5 in cap space. I mean, he's affordable, actually. Yeah, he actually is pretty relatively affordable. Let me see something here. He has a base salary. Son of a gun. He has a. Okay, yeah, it's actually pretty doable. I didn't think it was doable anymore, but it is. Okay, well, we'll talk about it. What of Jalen Smith? No. Richard Liu, it's not hashtag Trace, it's hashtag Saints, my man. Jalen Smith is not on the roster anymore. He got signed off the Saints practice squad last year. Not the first time either. Alrighty. Are we good on questions? Cool. Let's do it. Hold on. Let me message Mitch something. Okay. So I just messaged Mitchell Renz 365 to see something real quick. And yeah, we'll figure it out. But anyway, let's answer some questions. Let's get into the mailbag and let's stop stalling here because my name's not Joseph. Welcome into Saints Now by Chat Sports. We're going to be answering your questions and responding to your hot takes. But if I don't get to your question or if you want more coverage in between these videos, give me a follow on social media. It's at Trace Girouard 48 on X, at Trace Girouard 48 _ on Instagram. My IG, I made a new account that's very Saints specific. I'm posting a lot of my short form content, a lot of jersey swaps, funny memes, fun stuff. So if you want to get more content on Instagram, give me a follow there. And on Twitter, I tweet out everything that I think without any sort of filter. And on top of that, I'm also doing Twitter Spaces as well, where we get to interact and talk, like sports talk radio in real time and respond to each other. So give me a follow on social media if you haven't already. The links are in the comment section and description of the video. Also, worth noting, if you stick around to the end of the video, I have a way for you to get a follow back from me. Mikey Taylor, first question. Can we actually trade for Davante Adams? So, in terms of what the payment would be, so let's start here. The compensation. That's what's going to be kind of tough. I feel like the Raiders are going to value Davante Adams more than the rest of the league will. I think that he is still a good wide receiver, but I don't think he was the player coming into Las Vegas, right out of Green Bay, that he was now. And I will say his base salary for 2024 is $16.89 million, which is pretty affordable. But in 2025, it's $35.64 million, and in 2026, it's $36.64. So that's where things kind of get interesting and the contract gets a little bit out of hand. But again, you can get creative with the contract. Kai Harley knows what the hell he's doing, and he knows how to make a penny turn into about $10 million. So can they? Maybe. Will they? No. All right, let's go to Slim Jim here. Will Spencer Rattler or Jake Haener be QB2? So I did tweet, Slim Jim, I wonder if you follow me on social media, because I tweeted this one out, and it took the internet by storm. Saints Twitter lost it. They were very, very split. A lot of them are saying Spencer Rattler. A lot of them are saying Jake Haener. And there's good reasons for both. Haener has been in the system for a year, but has he been in the system? Because it's a new offensive coordinator. It's a new team. So has he really been in the system? That's kind of my argument there. But he does have some good traits, and he has at least preseason experience in the NFL, and Spencer Rattler has none. So it's not really apples to apples. You can't say this player is going to be better than this player in my specific opinion, or my personal opinion at least. But I do think that Rattler has a much higher upside, and I think that Rattler has much better tools to succeed, and I think he is a better quarterback, just in terms of the mechanics and arm strength, I guess you could say. But I think that it is a real conversation to be had. Who will be the QB2? If I had to make my guess right now, I'm going to say Jake Haener's QB2 to start the season, but don't be surprised if things kind of start changing towards the middle parts of the season. Let's say Derek Carr gets hurt, or Jake Haener or the Saints are up by a lot and Jake Haener gets some run and he just plays like shit. Don't be surprised if Rattler jumps him on the depth chart. Right now, I'm going to go Jake Haener, though. So I do want to encourage you, join the family here at Saints Now by Chat Sports. We're bringing you guys news, rumors, interactive content, and a whole lot more here on the channel. This video that you're watching right now was filmed as a part of our live show. So if you want to be a part of one of those and you want to join the fun that we have in our live shows, subscribe today. It's 100% free. I encourage you to do it. And if you hate it after 7 days, just unsubscribe. You won't be doing that, though. All right, Queen Courtney, next question. Who would be the best linebacker we can get in free agency? Pete Werner's gotta go. All right, this is bad radio, but I'm going to pull up a list of free agents that are still available in terms of the linebacker position. So let's say, hold on. I agree with you that Pete Werner could be better. And I agree with you that he's been a little bit underwhelming. But in terms of free agents that are available right now, there's not a ton that are remaining. Shaq Leonard, Zach Cunningham, Quan Alexander, and Josh Woods. So there you go. Those are the best linebackers. I would rather just run it back with Pete Werner and see what happens. I know some of you guys would want Quan Alexander back. I personally don't. But, I can understand why you're a little bit annoyed with the linebacker production out of Pete Werner. I actually listed him in a video as a surprise cut candidate. So if you missed that, I explained my case on the channel. So go look for that video. Earl Dean, who would be the best safety not including Justin Simmons? Oh, man. That's a tough one because a lot of people will say Jamal Adams, but I disagree. I disagree that Jamal Adams is the best safety available. I think that the best safeties available right now, let's see here. You can go get Eddie Jackson. You could bring back Marcus May. You're not going to do that. Micah Hyde's an intriguing option. I don't hate Quandre Diggs. Tracy Walker, Jaron Kearse are options. Tashawn Gibson, Terrell Edmonds, Justin Simmons. I'm just going to say the only option is Justin Simmons. Or you go trade for a safety. But I'm going to say the only option, Justin Simmons. So if you want Justin Simmons to be a Saint, type Saint Simmons in the comment section. And also in the comment section, if you want to get geared up with some new lids and some new swag for the summer, going to the pool, going to a cookout, going to a barbecue, whatever, just hanging out on Bourbon Street, going shopping down Canal, you need some fresh lids and you need some fresh headgear. So go to chatsports.com/SaintsHat. The one I just showed you is probably the favorite, but this is the draft hat. I absolutely think it's really, really cool. I love this trucker cap, this little tropical Saints hat, perfect for if you're going on vacation, going to a beach or something. I actually think it looks pretty sick, and you could probably dress it up with a lot of different stuff. I love the dad hat, though, with the old school shield. I mean, I think that is so clean, but probably my favorite hat in the whole mix has to be this 47 hat. I mean, it's so comfortable. I actually have some friends with this exact hat, but their respective football teams, and it's very breathable. It's very comfortable. It looks really, really good. It fits your head really nice. So if you're like, oh, I'm not a hat guy, this is a hat that's like friendly for you if you don't have what I like to call a hat head. I have a hat head, for example. So if you don't want that hat, what about a bucket hat? Go get yourself a bucket hat. Go hang out by the pool. Go to the bar. Go to a Darty. If you're a college student and you're trying to go do some day drinking, bucket hats are in. I'm telling you, I was a former college student. Listen to me. Chatsports.com/SaintsHat. Link is in the comments and description of the video. So Jackson asking, is a Brandon Ayuk trade possible? Short answer, yes. Long answer, no. Yes, it's possible, but is it happening? I don't think so. I mean, I think that Brandon Ayuk, I think the Niners are more interested in keeping Ayuk than they are in keeping Deebo. And personally, I would rather keep Ayuk over Deebo. And that's just in my personal preference. He's going to command a lot of draft capital if you want to trade for him. But maybe you can throw like Marshawn Lattimore or something into the mix if you're really desperate for Brandon Ayuk. Like, I think you're going to have to give up a lot to get a player like Brandon Ayuk. But is it possible, to answer your question? Yes. I just don't think it's going to happen with the Saints. Saints new owner. What's going on, my man? Trade Marshawn and trade Ryan Ramczyk if he gets healthy. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, no team wants anything to do with Ryan Ramczyk. Every team has been keeping tabs, and every team knows what's been going on with his injury status, and every team knows that he's a good football player when he's healthy. But the thing is, he's got to be healthy. And if he's not healthy, there's no point in trading for him. So you will not get any sort of trade compensation for Ryan Ramczyk. I think maybe at best you get like a 6th-round pick, maybe. And that's not. I'm not doing that. I'm not trading away Ryan Ramczyk for a 6th-round pick. Like, absolutely not. That's disrespectful. Marshawn Lattimore. You know, I'm in the boat of keep Marshawn Lattimore, but I can understand why you're not opposed to trading him away. I do think you could get like a 3rd or a 4th-round pick in return for him, or maybe you can put him into a trade package to get a receiver or not a receiver, another player that you really like, whether it's an offensive lineman, a safety, a receiver, whatever. If you're interested in going to get another player, I think the best thing you can do is throw Marshawn Lattimore into the trade package, but I'm not actively looking to move on from him, and neither is Mickey Loomis. But thank you for the question, Saints new owner. Mikey Taylor, with Tyler Boyd in Tennessee, is Hunter Renfrow the best wide receiver left in free agency? Well, there's a few wide receivers that are still available in free agency, and I think that, like, what's most important for the Saints free agent wide receivers, in our situation specifically, it's got to be a fit. I'm not looking for just a small speedster. I'm not looking for a guy who I can line up on the outside to take the top off. I'm not looking for a really lengthy player. You have that in Olave. You have that in Shaheed. You have that in Perry. But Zay Jones just signed away to the Tennessee Titans, so he's off the table. The best free agents available according to Sharp Football Analysis right now, Michael Thomas, Hunter Renfrow, Mecole Hardman, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Corey Davis, Julio Jones, Russell Gage, Allen Robinson, Lynn Bowden, Alex Erickson, Randall Cobb, Sterling Shepard, Chosen Anderson, or Robbie Chosen, or whoever, Robbie Chosen Anderson, Richie James, or Jakeem Grant. And he got signed, didn't he? Jakeem Grant just got signed too, didn't he? Maybe he didn't. I don't remember. Either way, there's not a lot of great wide receiver options left in free agency. Hunter Renfrow is one of the best. Okay, Jakeem Grant is still available. Maybe I was thinking of somebody different. Hunter Renfrow is available. Probably the best option you have left outside of just bringing back Michael Thomas. And even that I wouldn't really do. So, going to be honest, it feels like it's Hunter Renfrow or bust in terms of adding a free agent wide receiver. Yeah, I'm not interested in Julio Jones. Absolutely not. How funny, though, would it be if we got Julio Jones in a Saints uniform? I would piss some Falcons fans off. Actually, you know what? Sign Julio Jones and make him retire a Saint just to spite Atlanta. We're changing the narrative. Sign Julio Jones. He's a damn good football player. Can make a huge impact. It'll piss off Falcons fans. Back to being serious. Richard, do you think the O-line is going to be better in your reasoning? Yes, the offensive line will be better. Trevor Penning gets a full preseason and a full offseason to get healthy, to practice, to learn, to study, to get coaching. You also have a new offensive line coaching staff. You have a new quarterbacks coach. You have a new offensive coordinator. So I think the offense as a whole is going to be better. Talise Fuanga is a big-time addition to the depth chart for the offensive line. Losing Andrews Pete to the Raiders, that definitely hurts. He's a good rotational, reliable backup. At bare minimum, he's good at most at that. But I do think that the Saints offensive line will be better. I think it's going to be an overall better offense. And I think that the play style and what they're scheming up for the quarterbacks and for the running backs and for the receivers and everybody's going to make the offensive linemen's jobs easier because they're not going to sit there and give Derek Carr a ton of time to find a receiver, to find where he's going to dump the ball off to. It's not going to take a ton of time to have the running back pick a hole. You're going to have options, and I think that that's going to be very beneficial for the Saints offense. But I think it's a great question, Richard. Thank you so much for asking, and thank you for tuning in today. So this is the end of our video, and I said it earlier. If you guys made it to the end, I would give you a follow back, but you got to prove it by DMing me squad. So whether you do it on Twitter /X, Trace Girouard 48, the link is in the comments. DM me squad there. I'll give you a follow back. Or if you do it on Instagram, you can be one of the first few people that I follow back on my Instagram page at Trace Girouard 48_. DM me squad. That way I can know you're a real one, and that way I can know that you are a diehard Saints fan. Y'all stay golden, Who Dat Nation. See you next time. Alrighty, Saints fans. We're going to do a 2-minute shot clock, and then we got to hop on out of here. So if you haven't already and you want to send in a super chat, this is your chance to do so. I'll tell you what, if we get a $100 super chat, I'll do a beer shotgun.
Uh-oh.
Rut-row.
Uh-oh.
$100, and I'm shotgunning a beer,
It's Wicked Wednesday, baby.
It is Wicked, Wild, Wet Wednesday.
Let's get wet.
Let's get wet. Get Trace wet.
Get Trace wet. Get Trace wet. Whoa. Hey, now.
I'm so glad Maddie's at a Pilates class not watching this. Holy cow. She'd be like, excuse me.
Hold on.
She's like, excuse me. What are you doing over here? I thought this was only Saints, not only fans.
Only Saints here.
Oh, only Saints, brother.
Only Saints here, brother.
We're only Saints. We never help. But we're Saints. Just kidding. What up, Colorado Ferguson? Hope you're doing well, my man. Inevitable expertise saying Raiders want to run that 2 tight end set. It's going to be a good. I mean, if they can, yeah, that'll be good. But they got to throw the ball first. Alrighty. If no super chats come on in, that is A-okay with me. Ross Jackson, that's funny. All right, we are going to hop on out of here. Oh, wait, real quick. Jerry G. Trace, with the schedule coming out next Wednesday, who do you think the first team to face to open up the season? Okay, I was actually thinking about this last night. I think I'm landing on the Browns.
Yeah, what's your reasoning for the Browns?
The same reasoning Petey said the Browns would play a different team. It feels like it's a weird matchup in week 1. They always put weird matchups there. And the Saints the past couple years have started their season against the NFC South. So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, they've done this the past 2 years. They're not going to do it a third year in a row, right? But there's also the same argument of, well, they've done it the past 2 years. They're probably going to do it a third year in a row. Yeah. But the fact that the first game of the season, well, last year, week 1 was the Titans. So maybe they will be. Oh, damn. No, I don't know. Hold on.
Who else do they play? Let's see.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up the list of the opponents. So I'm going to say,
Do you think home or road?
the first game will be on the road. Last year was home. Last year was a home game. The year before that it was a away game. So I'm going to say it's going to be a away game this year. Dude. Maybe not. Denver Broncos week 1 could be interesting, but I don't think that'll happen. I feel like that'll be a game that they like put on prime time, or they put at like a 3:00 slot because it'll be Sean Payton versus the Saints. The
Giants?
Rams could be an option. That's the team. The Giants. I think the Giants could be a team that they play week 1. Try and give Daniel Jones an easy game to kind of ease into it, because it's not like the Saints are the best team in the NFL, but also give the Saints an easy win. It's two teams that aren't necessarily expected to win their divisions, but could. But Giants more so probably won't. Saints more realistic path to win it. I mean, the NFC East is so much better than the NFC South.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even close.
Oh,
it's
so
not
much
even
better.
close. All right, Mikey Taylor, $5 super chat. Who is your top 3 UDFAs? Okay, I love Dallin Holker, tight end out of Colorado State. Trajan Jeffcoat, defensive end out of Arkansas. I actually think he has a realistic chance to make the roster. And then, is it Kyle Sheets? Is it Kyle Sheets? I think it was. Yeah, Kyle Sheets. Wide receiver out of Slippery Rock University.
Oh, that's pretty close to where I'm from.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit. Is it really?
Yeah.
He's from Springsboro. Do you know where that is? Springsboro, Pennsylvania.
Let's see.
He is 6'4", 220 pounds. So there's an X receiver.
Okay, that's like near like Erie. That's not really near me.
Okay. So he was 3rd in program history in touchdown receptions, 4th in program history in receiving yards, 7th in program history in receptions, 2-time All PSAC West, consensus All-American. I think that Kyle Sheets has a really good chance to make the roster. And the Tipton, the wide receiver out of Yale, he had ridiculously insane production. I think that he could be another good one.
I lied, by the way. Slippery Rock is not near me. It's near Pittsburgh, which is near Erie, so that makes sense.
Gotcha.
I had some friends go there, so I kind of just assumed, and I knew it was in PA, so I was like, oh, it's probably near me. No, it's near Pittsburgh.
Fun fact, Brett told me this. Michigan, for some reason, at every football game, shows the score of the Slippery Rock game. Like it's like a tradition they do, is they show the score of
Why?
I don't know. Could not tell you. If anyone knows why they show Slippery Rock stats at Michigan games, please enlighten us and let us know, because it's beyond me why they do that. All right, another 2 minutes on the shot clock, or another minute, I guess, since we've already been
I'm curious. I got to look this up.
1 minute. Send a super chat to keep us live. We are almost at $50. That'd be pretty dope, but of course, we don't have to do that tonight. What a day, man. This has been a good little day of content. It's been a good little day of stuff. Dude, I love when Falcons fans get a hold of my tweets, because then Saints fans just go after them, and then boom. Queen Courtney! $20 super chat. Boom, boom, boom. Gotta love to see that. $20 from the queen herself. We have Queen Courtney and King Ken. Holy shit, that worked out. Well, I guess King Ken. Say King Ken Fox. He's a legend. But Randy is the king. Randy is the real king. Have I missed anything yet, Colorado? We are wrapping up, but if you want to, you can rewind this and start it over from scratch. Or I'm actually about to put out a video from each individual part of our live show throughout the rest of the weekend. So if you missed it now, you can definitely check it out later too. Like that's 100% an option. Queen Courtney, gotta love it. Resetting the clock. We're at $65. Can we get to 69?
So, I guess
Did you learn it?
there's not really a reason. Just back in, like, the 60s,
Yeah.
Michigan Stadium announcer Steve Filipiak, whatever, would just start announcing the Slippery Rock football scores.
Just cause.
And for some reason, the crowd just, like, loved it. And now it's a tradition. There's not, like, a reason why, as far as I
Interesting.
can tell. He just, like, did it
Interesting.
when reading out-of-town scores, and they loved it for some reason.
Interesting. That's. And of all schools to pick, Slippery Rock.
Yeah, I can't find it.
Really fast. Has anyone followed me on Instagram yet? I'm gonna check. Can I not tag Spencer Rattler in this? Guess not.
I guess it's just because it was a fun name. That's why they like
That
the
makes
fun
sense.
name.
That makes sense.
Slippery Rock.
That makes sense. All right, I'm gonna put the link to my Instagram and Twitter. If you guys haven't already, give me a follow on social media. There you go. Links to my Twitter and my Instagram are available for you. Give me a follow, and I'll give you a shout out right now. Actually, I'll follow you back right this second if you follow me now. I'm trying to post I'm trying to post live right now on my Instagram. I found this really sick picture of Spencer Rattler, and he just looks so locked in. He's gonna be so good. Chip, who do you think is gonna win the NFC South?
Well, we can take the Panthers out of the equation.
Yes, no doubt.
After that, I think the Buccaneers have a little bit of a regression.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
You know, I don't know if Baker Mayfield plays as well as he did last year. So to me, it comes down between the Saints and the Falcons. The Falcons, it totally depends what Kirk Cousins looks like. Is he healthy? Is he not?
Mm-hmm. Herb, I got you on the follow, my man.
Let's go, baby.
Appreciate you, bro.
If Kirk Cousins is healthy, I feel like they have a good enough squad to make a run for it.
Yeah, like the Falcons do have a good set of tools. They don't. Everything that the Falcons have ever shown me is they can have all the talent in the world. They just don't know how to use it.
I also don't love Raheem Morris as a head coach.
I don't either. Remember what happened last time Raheem Morris was the head coach of the Falcons? They traded away. They were forced to trade away Matt Ryan. They were forced to get rid of him and eat a shit ton of money. So
it could end poorly for sure.
yeah, everyone's like, "Oh, Raheem Morris, great hire." No, it wasn't. It simply was not. He
I don't
wasn't
think
even
so.
good as an interim.
But plus, like I'm always a fan of offensive head coaches rather than defensive head coaches.
Yeah, I'm in the boat of offensive coaches too. But I will also add that to kind of go to your point of the Raheem Morris hire, it's like, dude, you had the option of John Harbaugh. You interviewed all these guys multiple times for the record. John Harbaugh, Bill Belichick, which would have been horrifying. Oh my God, that would have just been a fucking nightmare. Who was the other one they interviewed? They interviewed somebody else. Can't remember, but they interviewed a couple of their like good coaches. I was like, oh shit, the Falcons might be good.
And they get
They get Raheem Morris, and they sign Kirk Cousins, give him $100 million, and then draft Michael Penix at number 8.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, if they had drafted a impact player at 8, I'd be a little more scared of them. But the fact that they wasted the opportunity to draft like a Dallas Turner or an impact on the defensive side of the ball, just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's weird.
They're overthinking it.
Trying to reinvent the wheel. I have this saying, Chip, Falcons will always Falcon. They always will. No matter what, you can give them a ton of great things, but they will always be the Falcons, and that they'll never be able to get over that mental hurdle.
Yeah, they'll always be the Falcons, baby.
They'll always be the Falcons. All righty, guys, we're going to hop on out of here and get our day wrapped up. I got to push out a video for you. So everyone show some love to producer Chip. Thank you, Jake, for hanging out with us and helping me get this live show rolling. Shout out to all you guys who are following me on Instagram. I'm actually about to follow back a bunch of y'all because I'm getting all the notifications now. So for producer Chip, my name is Trace Girouard. Shout out to the Who Dat Nation for hanging out with us. Y'all stay golden. Randy, thank you for the jacket. See you guys next time.